Hi guys, so I thought I'd film a video while I've got my hair mask in and while Jack's having a great time listening to Disney downstairs, jumping in his jolly jumper. So if you hear any noises, he's fine. I wanted to do an update, so where I've been since my last video, and then eventually make some videos about what I've learned, because I used to think I was this super badass fucking genius, guru bitch, and now I realized I knew fucking nothing. So last video I had my meeting with someone named Stephen, and I was putting in my complaint to talk about that. What I didn't mention was that after I had the meeting with Stephen, I had another appointment with the hospital, like go to physio, and then I had the doctor, not Anna, because I advised I didn't want her to be looking after me anymore, and so she was taken off my case, but Jill. Jill is like maybe mid-40s, 50s, like I'm saying 50s now because I feel old, so she's got to be older than that. She's very rough, not very gentle. When she first examined me, I was like freaking out and crying, and it was very uncomfortable. And this time when I went there, she was just as bad. Like Jack was crying, and she was like, well, no babies ever starved at this hospital, because I said, look, I just need to put his stomach back in. She's like, well, we're already running late, because she was running half an hour late, not because I was late. I was there half an hour early, actually. And I noticed around her lanyard, around her neck, she had a lanyard that was like a template of how to apologize. I was like, this ain't gonna be good. And she was just an absolute cunt of a human being. And as soon as she looked on her system and saw that I'd made a complaint, 180. She was sweet, kind, and caring, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so that was infuriating, and I cried again after that. That was October. November I was called after I submitted my complaint. A different way, because the way that creepy dude Stephen had told me to submit the complaint was wrong. So I submitted the complaint, and I got a call from one of the liaisons or a director of something there, and she advised me that they would be setting up an independent team for an investigation, and that I were going to call back in about 4 weeks' time. So at that point, it was November. Aiden was off to Manila for 2 weeks, and I kind of just left it, and then 5 weeks came around. Didn't hear anything. I think it got to 6 weeks, and I called them. I said, well, you were supposed to call me. And they said, yep, like, come in next week and we'll explain it all. And I was like, why the fuck didn't they call me? Like, I was really confused at that point. So I got ready. To talk about what compensation would be offered and what would I do with that, because I don't really give a fuck about their answers at this point. Like, they've done me damage. They can't repair my relationship with Jack. So what they can do is give me some fucking money. I went in, and there was supposed to be the director, a doctor, and a midwife. The director was not there. It was just the head of the midwifery board and this like super condescending doctor. The midwife was horrible. Like, if she'd been my midwife, I would have gone to a different hospital. She was very nasty. The way she apologized was we apologize for the fact. It was just very robotic, very forced, very clinical. And he was just very condescending and said they apologized for everything that had happened to me, and said that it's not normal for all of these things to happen, but individually, yes. Which made me think, like, then that's you fucked up still. So we talked about negligence, and we talked about, I had the ultrasound specialist say the hematoma was a result of the incorrect stitches, and they were just like, oh no, that's not possible. Just trying to obviously make sure they saved as much face as possible. And then the doctor said, well, when I saw your case last week, and then I realized that they probably hadn't done an independent investigation like they said they had, because this doctor hadn't spent weeks looking out for me or looking into the case. He'd spent probably a week on it, which was pretty great. After that, Aiden and I talked about compensation, and they were just like, well, you don't go through us, we don't know what to do with that. And I thought, like, a big part of my letter was to do with compensation, so they at least could have said to us, oh, you go through here, you've got to go through lawyers, you've got to go through insurance, blah, 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 blah. They didn't. They called me back and they said, I've sent you an email regarding it, but the midwife kept saying, if you want to go ahead with it, if. And she made that very clear that, I shouldn't, it was stated pretty obviously. After that, I went to the ombudsman again, because I originally went to them and they said, you know, you need to make contact and try something. And I said, yep, look, tried, needs you guys to help out now, because they do deal with compensation as well. I work in a space which deals with compliance. I know what they do. My case got handed to someone named Bernadette. What a fucking cunt of a human being. Again, I don't understand why people working in this space have no fucking soul. Like, what happened to you? Why are you still here? She called me and she was just asking, what do you want to know? I said, well, I want to know the entire investigation because I only got snippets. And I feel like when they were explaining things, like, they were saying how normal it all was. And I really hate that word because it's not. It's totally not. And so the last couple of weeks, and this is like February, so the last month or so I've been dealing with Bernadette, and I've ceased action with Bernadette today, because each time I talk to her, she's like, you know, you couldn't get compensation for that, and I don't know about this. And with negligence, you have to be like 10% effect. Someone has to assess you to say that you are, you know, it's caused 10% mental damage, which I'm sure I could get someone to say that easily. However, she's like, you know, it's really hard. It's really hard. Like, you wouldn't be able to do it. Like, you know, it's really hard, and makes all these jokes. And she's like an older woman. You can tell by her voice. And I feel like she just doesn't give a shit. She must think, you know, why am I complaining? Why do I want compensation for tattoos to be covered and for private health? Because I don't want to go through the public health system anymore. And she didn't listen to anything I was saying. Like, I would tell her, like, do you want to know my fucking day? Do you want to know what I do because of this? Do you want to know how many panic attacks and nightmares? And the fact that when I have to take Jack to hospital or a doctor's to get injections, or so we can see someone at a hospital, I freak out. I stand at the doors and look at them. And I think, I can't do this. And I'm shaking and I'm sweating and I'm crying. And I have to go through with it because of Jack. But I don't want to. I have had a sore shoulder for like, I'm going to say 4 months now. Have I had it checked out? No. Why? I'm terrified of getting misdiagnosed. I'm terrified of having to deal with someone who treats me like a junkie. I cry all the time still if someone mentions childbirth. I can't talk to friends about their births because when they say it's easy, like, I can't handle that. Because why me? What did I do? What did I do? Stuff like this. And I've been seeing a therapist, which has been really helpful because she is helping me through this. And I've been recommended some medication, and I've just had my wisdom teeth taken out. So after that's all finished, I'll go into some medication, which will hopefully change who I am and make me somewhat normal. Because I don't feel normal. I feel like a shell still. And I'm so tired of hearing it'll get better. Or you don't know how you've been a year. What if I'm not here a year? Most days I'm pretty sure I'm alive because of Aiden. I don't want to leave him. And I don't want to leave him with Jack. And I don't want to leave Jack without a mum. I'm not here for myself anymore. So when I get told you're not really that affected by it, it's a slap in the face each time, and I cry each time someone tells me that. It's not that bad. Shouldn't you feel better now? Because I don't. I'm not as suicidal as I once was, which is nice. But it does mean I don't think about it often. I love my baby, but I feel like I've ruined the first couple of months of his life by being this depressed. My therapist has given me options to have alternatives of seeing a lawyer because old mate Bernadette has advised a lawyer would be the best option. And lawyers don't really want to talk about mental negligence or the effects of negligence on my mental health, they want to talk about the physical health. And I'm still in pain. It's just not as often. But there's still feelings there. You know, I'm so sorry for everyone who goes through something like this and then doesn't get help and is told constantly incorrect information. Because I know it's not uncommon. So where I'm at right now is trying to get in a better mental headspace so I can be a great mum, a great human, to feel like myself again, to be able to go to work without crying, to not be scared of leaving the house, to not be afraid of doctors, to not cancel doctor's appointments weekly because I just can't. I can't deal with them. To not freak out about going into hospitals. And it's baby steps, but all I can do is hope that eventually I won't be like this anymore. That was really depressing. I didn't mean for it to become depressing, but here we are. Next week I'm going to film something, or even tomorrow, like fuck it, about what I've learned baby-wise since then, and some tips and tricks. But for now, I'm gonna go eat some chocolate, and then I'm gonna cry a bit and cuddle my son because I've made myself feel like shit. I hope everyone has a great day, and that I haven't made anyone else cry.